Let's talk about the evolution of STACKT. Moving to the growth of STACKT over the years, like STACKT has undoubtedly transformed since its inception, evolving into a vibrant hub for small businesses and the community activities.
Looking as a business and would like to become part of the program, we launched a new venture called STACKT more recently, and that is really focused on support for small business. It's an accelerator for small businesses in Canada.
Matt talked about the importance of creating supportive environments for small businesses. How does this resonate with your own experiences? Are there ways you can contribute to or enhance the ecosystem within your own community?
We are giving 48 grants, where is an opportunity for free to take your concept and test it within these retail units.
For everyone tuning in, think about Matt's entrepreneurial spirit in starting STACKT. What's your vision? Today, we focus on entrepreneurial spirit and community-centric retail innovations. We are set to unpack the journey of a unique retail ecosystem, defining how we think about space and commerce. Joining us today is Matt Rubinoff, the dynamic founder and president of STACKT, a creative retail concept based in Toronto designed entirely from shipping containers. Behind his role at STACKT, Matt's diverse background ventures showcase his commitment to innovation and community engagement. Hello everyone and welcome to a new edition of the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. I'm your host and guide with another episode and a new perspective. Let's dive into Matt's vision and learn how he's creating spaces where culture, commerce and community intersect. Good afternoon, Matt. Welcome to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks.
It's truly inspiring to see how you have transformed a concept into community hub. Your journey from the fields of marketing and the real estate into creating one of the Toronto's most talked about marketplaces is something I'm sure our listeners can't wait to hear more about. Let's start with the entrepreneurial journey, the beginning of your fascinating journey, like what inspired you to create STACKT and how did your earlier experiences shape your approach?
So with STACKT, we were looking to create a space where we could see, community, culture, and commerce all intersect in one space. And so a platform where both small and large businesses could thrive as one, and especially those with innovative concepts, but even more some that may even have a challenge, in a traditional retail environment there with what their concept was and bringing that to life. So that's what we were looking to create. Where it came up, my background comes from a marketing, loyalty side of it and some hospitality, but also real estate. So when you take that combination of those put together, you end up with a product like STACKT.
And what was your goal or vision when you planned to start this one?
That's what we were, looking to do, is to create a space that, everyone could come out to. In here, we could support businesses in there, as I said, both large and small. So although we have a focus on the more like the emerging side of businesses and new concepts with it, they do live within a space there where there are the more established businesses living alongside them. So to have those two living together cohesively within a space was really important, and it was very successful. You can do that if done right. It can be really well received and be successful.
Okay. Can you make it in simple words, can you explain what the platform is about the STACKT?
So STACKT is, it started with a flagship that opened in Toronto in 2019. So we are actually a city block of space there. So it's 100,000 square feet. Within that space, there's a mix of retail, there's event spaces. We even have from a light manufacturing side, as we actually have a brewery on site producing. And then we have everything from a pickleball court to a basketball court, dog park. And then there's just a whole bunch of programming that gets layered on top of it that kind of enhances what that experience is for both consumers and the businesses on site.
It's like a community in itself, right?
It really is.
Yeah. Like every entrepreneur, they face challenges, Matt, could you share a significant challenge you faced in the early stages and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, sure. I think one of the first challenges was when we looked at building out a concept like this and figuring out, how can we animate a space and provide public space. like this was the real estate component of it. So it's challenging, especially in a city like Toronto, and thinking about downtown. Look at purchasing a building is very expensive. If you look to lease one and then sublease it out, the model does not actually work. So we had to get a little bit creative there. We started to look at vacant land, and as you can imagine, vacant land is not everywhere in downtown Toronto. And when it is, typically the way they look at it is probably around residential or commercial build that when you apply the numbers does not make sense for a model like this. So what we actually looked at is leasing land that was temporarily available. And when we looked at that, we said this is a great opportunity to actually find some great real estate. But to do it, we had to take a modular approach with the buildings themselves. So that's what we ended up doing, retrofitted shipping containers within the space with a modular approach so that we could go in, and if it was a few years at it, we could actually pick up the project if need be at the end and move it to another location.
Okay. As an entrepreneur, Matt, what is your key piece of advice to other aspiring entrepreneurs?
There's quite a bit that can come from that in there. I mean, if it's specific to STACKT and the way we think about it there, a big part of that is testing in there. So if you were in a space in retail and you have that chance to interact with customers, a big part of what we believe in is that it's a much different experience that you have in physical retail versus online. So you have a chance to interact with those customers, and so take that for everything it is. Be very open-minded to listen to what that feedback is that's coming. Listen to your customers and understand, what is it that a product that's resonating, a product or a service that is doing well, or what that feedback is, whether it's positive or negative. That is your chance to take that feedback in person, which is feedback you may not get, or you interpret it differently if you're online and working through the e-com side of it.
Thank you so much for sharing your advice. Let's take a brief moment here. For everyone tuning in, think about Matt's entrepreneurial spirit in starting STACKT. What's your vision? Maybe you are contemplating a leap into starting your own business or a project. Consider what unique concept you might bring to life and what first step you could take today towards making that a reality. Remember, every big idea starts with a simple act of courage. Let's talk about the evolution of STACKT. Moving to the growth of STACKT over the years, STACKT has undoubtedly transformed since its inception, evolving into a vibrant hub for small businesses and the community activities. What are the different ways through which it serves the small business community?
There's a number of different ways. So one key piece around if I focus on the retail component was there is a challenge for businesses that want to go and test retail. So if you do want to do that in a traditional environment, sometimes there's the investment that's required from not just a resource standpoint from the capital side to go invest into a space, one to fit it out and also, make sure that the fixtures are there and everything is. That commitment would come from a capital side. And then there's the term of lease. So there usually is a longer term commitment. So if you're looking to test something, that's a big commitment to go in and move forward with. And so what we did is we set up an environment where it was very turnkey, very simple, and we offered short-term leases as well to go and activate within one of those spaces to test out a concept and see it, in physical life, in a physical space, and see if that was something that was working for your business. And again, taking that knowledge that you've learned from that space to say, is this something that I'd like to repeat and go do elsewhere within that, environment and keep continuing with physical retail.
And what have been some standout moments or successes during this evolution?
I'd say that for sure from the brands we've worked with and the businesses we've worked with, watching some of those businesses go out and open a second and third location following the opportunity to
STACKT, feeling, right?
It's fantastic. So there's really nothing better than seeing that actually in place and seeing that success. From the STACKT side, we went out and we opened in 2019 at 28 Bathurst in Toronto, and what we were doing is that was a pilot in essence of it, and we wanted to go and learn and take insights in, and the idea was to stay long term. And we actually we've worked with the city of Toronto on that space, and now we're going to be there for over 10 years within that space and secured a long-term lease on it, which was fantastic. And that in turn led to our expansion project, which we're now in Ottawa, and we're going to be in Calgary and Vancouver later.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And how can our listeners who is interested to learn more about STACKT can get connected, or like where they should go to learn more about?
Yeah, so I mean, not everyone's there. If you are in Toronto and ever come to visit, we are at Front and Bathurst at 28 Bathurst is the address, which is always great. And there's, everything going on there from, you can come in and just enjoy the space and go and see some retail or events that are happening online. So if you're looking as a business and would like to become part of the program, we launched a new venture called STACKT more recently, and that is really focused on support for small business. It's an accelerator for small businesses in Canada. And so STACKTX.com is where everyone can register, and is completely free for everyone to join there. So that will have a handful of resources, tools, community-driven partnerships that are in there, and also the opportunity to actually be in physical retail, again, free. So you can, as in Ottawa is our next expansion project, what we did, really high foot traffic locations that are there to test retail. And again, all free.
Creating a nurturing environment for small businesses is both an art and a strategy. At STACKT, you have turned this into a successful model, as you mentioned. Like, what different strategies have you implemented at STACKT to support and nurture the small business community?
We've looked, as I'd mentioned, the idea of access to retail to go and test that. We've created a environment where there's a lot of support in there as well. So you're not on your own there. There's a community around you of like-minded businesses and entrepreneurs, which is always very helpful in there. So we went and further built out that support network with STACKT and formalized the process even a bit more. So there is everything there, as I mentioned, from the resources and tools in there. But what we've watched is we've kind of created a program as a graduation process. We recognize the part where even if a business were to get over the challenges around the capital investment and resources to go sign into a longer term lease, that may not be available to them all the time, because the landlord themselves may actually not approve a lease based on there's no history of financials or some of the challenges that may exist there. So we're actually building that credibility in with those small businesses so they have that opportunity to sign the lease. And we're actually been doing a test pilots. We've had over a dozen businesses at the flagship in 28 Bathurst that have been running there, and over 80% of them have actually gone and signed a long-term lease following their pilot program. So
That's great.
It's been really great to see.
Right. And can you discuss the impact of these strategies on the businesses with STACKT?
Yeah, that was, as they come in and they have that opportunity, again, seeing the businesses that go out and have that opportunity to expand, they've taken those learnings, they've gone and put that and implemented it into decide, do I want to open up retail or sign that longer term space? It's been really great to see. So we've seen a number of them do that. And as I mentioned from the pilot program, we're seeing that piece. So we now have Ottawa that is in place, and Calgary and Vancouver that are going to be next. And we're actually going to be working with over 11,000 businesses over the next year who will put that into place.
Okay. Matt, your efforts are evidently crafting a supportive and thriving environment for entrepreneurs. Thanks so much for doing this for the entrepreneur community. Yeah. I want to pause here and reflect with all of you. Matt talked about the importance of creating supportive environments for small businesses. How does this resonate with your own experiences? Are there ways you can contribute to or enhance the ecosystem within your own community? Maybe it's through mentorship, partnership, or simply supporting local businesses. Think about the role you play in the bigger picture of community development. Let's pause for a moment. Matt highlighted the importance of supporting small businesses. Reflect on how this resonates with your own experiences. Are there ways you can contribute to your local business community through mentorship, partnership, or by shopping locally? Let's take a break and we will be right back.
You dreamt big. You made the leap. You and your "we're not stopping at small" business. Doesn't matter you've never done it before. You unlock those problems. You adapt to change. You learn to evolve. You're pioneers in challenging times, finding your own frontiers. Wherever you e-commerce, UPS is with you. So nothing is going to hold you back.
4 billion people check their email every day. That's 4 billion missed opportunities if your message doesn't make it. To reach your customer's inbox, you need a winning strategy. And Constant Contact delivers. Literally, over 97% deliverability. Elevate your email game with easy-to-use templates, writing assistants powered by AI, and in-depth metrics. Ensuring your email is flawless, delivered, and read. Constant Contact delivers. Give it a try.
At IHG Hotels and Resorts, we're in the business of you.
We're here to help you plug in,
connect, and recharge.
Make an impression.
And meet with confidence.
With 19 brands built for business,
your business gets even more rewarding.
With an award-winning loyalty program at 6,000 IHG hotels and resorts worldwide.
Welcome back from the break. We have just heard about the vital role small businesses play in our economy. Think about how you can support them in your community. Your actions, like mentorship or shopping local, can make a big difference. Now, let's move on to discuss investing in retail spaces. Moving on, let's discuss your insights on retail investment. Moving into retail, especially in today's market, requires a keen eye and a bold heart. Investing in retail can be daunting yet rewarding. What advice would you give to small businesses looking to invest in retail space like STACKT?
I would say make sure that you're getting the most out of it when you're going into a space. The idea, again, that retail may not be a physical retail space, may not be for everyone. And so use that as a testing opportunity. So when you're in there is, gain the insights that are there, listen to your customers, go in with a very open mind about what you can learn from that experience while you're within there. Because that's... whether it's 30 days, could be a week or a few months, you'll see different shifts that will happen. Everything from who might be standing behind a counter and that engaging with a customer, down to which products are sold at which time and are moving. And, there's different pieces there that really can change the outcome of what that experience is. So learn as much as you can while you're in there.
Okay. And how do you see the future of retail investments in urban spaces evolving?
I think there's probably going to be a lot more from the technology side and almost from, the software and the platforms that exist. I believe there's a lot more data available, and data that's not necessarily so much as a customer side is what you can learn, but more about your own business. It's always been available, but I think a lot of the companies now are helping to actually shape it in a way that it's very accessible and understandable, which is great. And we find that funny when we go in and work with several businesses that have gone through the program. It's interesting to see that not always sometimes what they believe is the best performing product or service is the best performing. It might be the one that's selling the most, but might be running at a loss or a very low margin. And these are insights that are crucial to a business, but aren't always right in front of you until, that data actually reveals it. So you layer that on and then layer it in to see what, how those products work with the customer. And that's all coming from the technology side, I think, of the software that exists.
After listening to your insights, Matt, investing wisely in retail is about understanding market needs and the potential. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. And now, let's take a moment to consider what we have just heard about the retail investment. Matt's insight could be the turning point for rethinking how you engage with your physical or digital retail spaces if you are a small business owner. How can you make your business more inviting and more innovative? Could you adopt new technologies or create approaches to enhance your customer experience? Sometimes, stepping outside the conventional can lead you to discover groundbreaking opportunities. Now, moving on forward, let's discuss supporting the Canadian entrepreneurs. Supporting local businesses isn't just a practice at STACKT. After listening to you, it's a principle you live by. Why do you believe it's important to support small businesses across Canada, and how does STACKT contribute to this belief?
Yeah, I mean, I believe the number is that there's 8 million Canadians that are employed through small business, which is over 2/3 of the labor force in there. So, I mean, that's a huge part of the country. Where STACKT leans in is, a program like STACKT is very focused on supporting those small businesses. So we are leaning in there. We're going to work with over 11,000 small businesses. But if you think right back from inception already of what's happened from 2019, we've already worked with over 3,000 businesses. I think we've hosted over 1,800 events in there.
1,800 events.
1,800 in there, and over 10,000 jobs created over that time with it. So STACKT has definitely leaned in, and now we see through the expansion how much more we can where we can assist.
Okay. And Matt, what future plans do you have to to expand the support?
We are definitely going through STACKT is the expansion that will go beyond the flagship. So we have locations from a physical standpoint in Toronto, Ottawa, Calgary, and Vancouver. The project will expand beyond that, but these are the first cities, and what we're doing from a physical retail opportunities, we are giving 48 grants, whereas an opportunity for free to take your concept and test it within these retail units. And they're going to be in very high foot traffic locations, ton of exposure for the business. So in Toronto, we're at the flagship, which is a great location.
So you said 48, right? 48 grants.
48. And then in Ottawa, we are in Byward Market, located front and center there. And so each business will actually go in for 30 days and have that opportunity to test products and see, from there and all the support that happens through the STACKT program, is that something that they would like to continue and go and sign in? And as it's shown so far, it's been very successful with the pilot at the flagship, where over 80% of those businesses actually went and signed into a longer term lease.
Matt, your commitment to Canadian entrepreneurs is paving the way for a more interconnected business landscape, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Matt, before we conclude, could you share a piece of advice for aspiring entrepreneurs who dream of starting something as impactful as STACKT?
Yeah, I'd say something that always sort of resonates with me is that don't be discouraged by hearing that, if someone says that your idea may not work or be successful in there. I think that's the only way we can innovate, is actually if we go against the grain on some of these ideas. So it can be discouraging, but for me, I heard that quite a bit, and it just drove me to sort of go further with these ideas. And I encourage everyone else to do that as well. If you have a product and you believe in it, just because you're told that's not the way it's been done in the past, that's not a reason to go and try it out in the future. And if you find the right platform like this, where you can mitigate that risk and go and actually test the concept, I think it's a great opportunity to try.
Thank you so much for your valuable advice to our audience, Matt. Your vision for STACKT and your commitment to fostering a thriving ecosystem for small businesses has surely inspired our listeners. Thank you so much for coming to our studio today. It was a great pleasure chatting with you.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's great.
As we wrap up, I would like to extend a special thank you to all our exclusive partners who make this podcast possible. Our exclusive banking partner, RBC, our exclusive shipping partner, UPS, our exclusive email partner, Constant Contact, and our exclusive hospitality partner, IHG Hotels and Resorts. For more engaging conversations and experts' insights, don't forget to subscribe to the Canadian SME Small Business Magazine at CanadianSME.ca. Continue to innovate, inspire, and make a difference. Join us next time on the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast.